Now, if you have landed in this video because you were triggered by what you saw in the thumbnail, please spare a few minutes because, and I do not say this lightly, I assure you that no matter where you stand ideologically, you will agree with what we are saying. My name is Kalyan Dev, and in this week's Decoded, we will explain why we think Assam is being forced to go the Manipur way. When did illegal immigration to Assam become a problem? Well, I'm pretty much sure that one cannot write a contemporary history of Assam as we know it without talking about immigration. Even before independence, British records talk about the vast movement of people across the region. But for our discussion, let us talk about the post-independence period. The problems of illegal immigration began hitting headlines in the 50s and 60s. This book, titled The Bengal Borderland Beyond State and Nation in South Asia, says that former Chief Minister of Assam, Bimala Prasad Soliha, in 1965 claimed that over 1 million illegal Pakistani infiltrators had entered eastern India between 1951 and 1961. Come 2023 and little seems to have changed. During this period, we have witnessed the Assam agitation, the Assam Accord, the separatist movement of ULFA, NRC, CAB which became CAA, and of course the establishment of the world-famous WhatsApp University. But one thing has remained constant: immigration, and especially illegal immigration. When the BJP came to power in 2014 at the centre and then in Assam in 2016, it was clear that the Assam electorate, given the BJP's ideology, trusted the party to do what the Congress could not supposedly do. And fair enough, I will be the first one to admit, when it comes to making promises, no one can beat the BJP. And before someone accuses me of slandering the party, allow me to present evidence. This is what Amit Shah said in 2021. And what did the BJP government say earlier this month? The Union Home Ministry on December 11 told the Supreme Court that it would not be able to provide accurate data on the extent of illegal migration of foreigners into India since such migrations happen in a secretive manner. Not my words, please. Bar and Bench reported this. You can read the full report through the link in the description. As per the report, the number of those given citizenship was higher than the deported. On one hand, you say you have stopped entry during a public rally, while in the Apex Code, you say you do not have accurate data, and then slyly admit that more people got citizenship than deported. Which one is correct? But why are we talking about this right now? Let me explain. Now, there are two sides to immigration. One, there is a severe lack of documentation, and the second, immigrants turn into citizens before one can say hello. At least, this is what has been drilled into our heads. But let me ask, identifying the problem is one thing. How does one solve it exactly? One, you catch them at the border itself and then ensure they return, and every once in a while you see these reports too. But these numbers are small. Two, there is a route via the Foreigners Tribunal. There are 100 Foreigners Tribunals functioning in Assam. After the repeal of the IMDT Act, the Assam government initially established 21 FTs in 2005. In 2009, another 4 FTs were established. In 2014, an additional 64 numbers of FTs were established, all under the Congress government, mind you. Not blaming anyone, just stating facts. But earlier this month, there was another rather shocking revelation which compelled us to make this video, to be honest. On December 1, the Gauhati High Court noted a submission made by the Assam government that almost 85% of the cases that came to the Foreigners Tribunals eventually resulted in the proceedees being declared Indians. A bench of justices, Achintya, Mallya, Bujor, Barua and Mitali, Thakuria, in an order passed on November 21 and made public on November 23, told the Assam government to review cases where the Foreigners Tribunals have declared applicants as citizens or as foreigners without proper analysis of the documents. The bench also expressed concern by saying that several individuals may have been wrongly declared as citizens or foreigners by the tribunals. According to this report, the State Home and Political Department are mulling a crash course for the FT members at the National Law University and Judicial Academy, Assam, in Guwahati. Now you know the situation is bad when FT members who are supposed to know the laws like the back of their hands need to be trained. And oh, one sec, trained for what? A few years ago, the New York Times, in a damning report of how FTs worked, exposed that tribunal members in the state of Assam say they felt pressured to declare Muslims non-citizens as the government seeks to expel illegal immigrants, and failure to do so costs several FT judges their jobs. And sure, as for some of you, any report that criticizes something Indian becomes anti-national. But the truth is for all of us to see. Do not believe the New York Times? Fine. Will you then believe the Indian government? In its affidavit regarding no accurate data, the government said that there are 100 foreigners tribunals currently functioning in Assam which had disposed of 3,34,966 cases till the end of November this year, while 97,714 cases remain pending. As of December 1, there are 8,461 appeals against orders of such tribunals pending before the High Court. So, in short, nearly 2 decades after establishing FTs and spending over 100 crore rupees, we have addressed 3.34 lakh cases, not all of which were, of course, deemed to be foreigners. Almost 1 lakh cases remain pending across 100 FTs, so an average of 1,000 cases per FT and over 8,000 appeals on FT verdicts in the High Court alone. Now, in light of what the High Court has pointed out, it is quite clear that not all is well with how the FTs are functioning. And oh, remember NRC? What is the latest on perhaps the most important exercise to counter illegal immigration in Assam? Well, according to latest reports, Assam Chief Minister Himanta Biswa Sarma on December 10 said the government is planning to delete the names of those who had their names enrolled in the list of the National Register of Citizens in Assam by forgery. 4.5 years after 19 lakh people's names were excluded from the NRC, we are now going to find a way to remove the names of those who used forgery. But wait, former NRC coordinator of Assam, Pratik Hajela's name is also in the mud. In November, his lawyer appeared in a lower court in a case of corruption against his client. Earlier this year, Assam CM also said that the former state NRC coordinator will face a probe for alleged irregularities. So, as we enter 2024, we are supposed to believe the NRC list or not? Was the process mandated by the Supreme Court, and which cost over 1,200 crore rupees worth it? Where do we stand? Are the 19 lakh people whose names are missing foreigners or not? If they can approach the court too, then how long till we figure it out completely? Remember earlier when we said there were over 97,000 cases pending? Theoretically, let us say half of the 19 lakh cases end up in the Foreigners Tribunal. What then? And especially with the ways FTs are functioning and how the Gauhati High Court has raised concern, what happens to those who are deemed foreigners by the FTs and later the decision is overturned by the High Court? And I'm sorry, but detention is a part of the deportation process. Deportation to where, how and when? Has India raised the issue at a diplomatic level with Bangladesh, which is also, mind you, dealing with its share of illegal immigrants from Burma? Have you seen an instance where India and Bangladesh officials have sat down to discuss taking back people? And again, why will Bangladesh take them back? We do not have answers to any of these questions. And oh, remember evictions meant to kick out encroachers from indigenous lands, aka Sipajar evictions in 2021? Prabhajan Virodhi Manch, an anti-Bangladeshi migrant organization, alleged Mission Basundhara, Assam's government's land reform settlement scheme, is a land policy meant for creating a Bangladeshi vote bank. The report further quoted convener of the Manch and Supreme Court lawyer Upamanyu Hazarika saying, Mission Basundhara, styled as a land reform/settlement scheme, is in fact a scheme for creating a Bangladeshi vote bank by allotting 13.6 lakh bigha, over 4.5 lakh acres of professional grazing reserve or village grazing reserve land to landless immigrant families who came to Assam until 2011. Again, not my words, but those of people who supported the evictions. Also, if anyone in the comment section can let us know how many of those evicted ended up being deported. Could not find much on the issue. And no, just to remind people, you cannot just kill people when you think are immigrants. That is not how democracy works, at least for now. Also, let us not forget that Assam's immigration problem is all of Northeast's problem. Talk to 5 Dimapur residents and 8 of them will tell you that illegal immigration is a big problem, not just in Dimapur but all of Nagaland. Do that in Mizoram and the response will be similar. Same for Arunachal, Meghalaya, Manipur and even Tripura. although we will address the Tripura issue in another video. But you see a large number of the Bengali population, Hindu or Muslim, working in Nagaland, Meghalaya, Mizoram and even Manipur, when quizzed, will show their identity cards issued by, you guessed it, Assam government. Without Assam addressing the illegal immigration issue, the other states too can do little. Which brings me to the final chapter. Manipur had, as we have said time and again, no history of violence between Meiteis and Kukis. Disagreements, yes, but throughout its history, things had never been this bad between civilian populations. I say civilian population, mind you. But for the past many years, there was the narrative that Kukis are migrants en masse from Myanmar, taking over areas in the hills and the valley and backing the drug trade in the region. Kukis reject this idea and Meiteis accept it wholeheartedly. But who is correct? No longer matters because the state as we end 2023 is more divided than even the dark days of 90s and 2000s. The damage to Manipur is done and no one knows when and how Manipur will recover from this. But Manipur's population is barely 1/10 of Assam. And unlike Manipur, the movement against outsiders, especially from Bangladesh, is decades old. From Assam agitation martyrs to the Assam Accord to the death of 5 civilians in the 2019 anti-CAA protest, it has been clear that Assamese have paid a big price in their quest against illegal immigration. But whether it is the FT, the NRC, the failed attempts at eviction or the lack of dialogue between Bangladesh and India, it is also clear that the government's attempts to curb immigration have failed spectacularly. The BJP has been in power at the centre for almost a decade and in the state for about 7.5 years, but it seems they are far more interested in pushing the fear of illegal immigration among people and continuing to divide us without actually finding any solution. Do nothing to maintain peace and anger among people will continue to simmer. Do something and you are taking on a problem to which, as you have shown, you have no solution to. If thousands of security forces and a double-engine government, not my words, cannot control violence in Manipur, how will it manage Assam if something similar happens? And that is why the government will do well to find a solution because honestly, as Manipur has shown, when things go out of hand, sometimes the distance among people becomes too big to be bridged. And Northeast cannot afford another war. India cannot afford another war.
Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to EastMojo. For any queries, put them down in the comments section below and press on the bell icon for notifications.